If your furnace is turning on then quickly turning off without creating any heat, watch this short video and I'll explain what to look for, as well as show you an easy fix if you prepared yourself for this type of situation. Typically, a flashing LED indicator will correspond to an error code found in the user manual. But oftentimes, it's a vague description of the problem. So let's open this up and get familiar with the different furnace parts. Up at the top, the 3 round discs are pressure switches. And there's a vacuum tube that helps operate these. If there's a clog in the air tube, a motor that won't turn on, or a problem with any of these switches, the furnace won't run. At the bottom, you'll find the gas burners. This Coleman furnace has 4 of them, and here in the back is the flame sensor. This detects if the burners are on. If there's no flame, the furnace will shut off to prevent gas fumes from entering your home. In all my years as a homeowner, I've never had issues with the pressure switches or flame sensor. The most common problem why a furnace suddenly won't run is the igniter, and it's located in the back in the direct path of one of the gas burners. This is called a hot surface igniter, and it's a very user-serviceable part. From past experience, I've learned to keep a hot surface igniter on hand for furnace emergencies because I don't want to get stuck with no heat in the winter. What you see here is for a Coleman furnace, but I'll list this and others in the description so it's easy for you to find. An igniter has 2 wires attached to a snap-on connector. And here's what the igniter looks like. This is brand new and you can see the even color along its surface. But be careful never to touch the gray filament with your fingers. Replacing a burned out igniter is almost as simple as replacing a light bulb. First, shut off power to the furnace. Now, find and detach the igniter's wire connector. And now you can go ahead and unmount this part. Typically it's held in with a screw, but some might use clips. Once it's detached, gently lift it out. This igniter has been in use for several years and it shows. There's a lot of discoloration because it heats up red hot every time to ignite the gas flowing from the burners. And it's constantly hit with direct flame when the furnace is running. You can usually find the replacement model number on the connector or an attached tag. Here you can see the brand new igniter versus the old one I just pulled out of my furnace. If an igniter burns out, you'll clearly see a break in the filament and more discolorations. Here my old one looks used but it's still good. To install the new igniter, just slip it into the opening in the back and secure it in place. A new hot surface igniter averages around $35, so it's definitely worth keeping an extra one on hand for your specific furnace. Calling a repairman for this simple repair could cost you several $100s plus an emergency surcharge. Unfortunately, if it's in the middle of winter and your furnace isn't running, your quickest option to restore heat is to call a repairman. But in the future, if you've prepared yourself ahead of time, you could restore your heat yourself in a matter of minutes. A hot surface igniter burns out just like a light bulb, so plan ahead and keep one on hand for emergencies. When it's all done, flip the breaker back on and the furnace should run like normal again. And here's a few things I want to emphasize. Do not touch the filament on the igniter with your fingers. The oils on your hand will shorten its life and cause it to burn out faster. Also, these igniters are not typically available to purchase locally by consumers. I actually found that out the hard way a few years ago. So check the items in my description to find the right igniter for you. And lastly, another user-friendly part is the flame sensor. This can easily be removed and checked. If there's a lot of corrosion on it, take a piece of steel wool to scrape it off and then reinstall it. If this video was helpful, please give me a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button to stay up to date on all my DIY videos.